Hello and welcome to So You Think You're Awake, the show about life transformation through dream interpretation. I'm Michael Sheridan. It's Monday, July 27th, 2020, and I'm saying that because today is the day Ann Tucker's 4-day Unleash Your Vision challenge started. And you still have time to get in on that, even though you will have missed the first live event. There's still 3 more to go, but you can watch the recording of the first one on her Facebook group. So if you go to my website, dream-analysis.com, click on videos and look at last week's show that is up on YouTube, there's a link underneath that will bring you to Ann's Unleash Your Vision challenge. And this all came about because she got channeled information about how healing is going to change in the future, how spiritual healer is going to be regarded. So anybody who does any type of modality to do with healing, not just energy healing, but any type of spiritual healing work. So this group is about bringing in the vision that she saw in her visions. Bringing in a vision boarding in a way, what she saw in her visions, and talking about what people would like to see in the future and so on. Because thoughts create reality, that's the point of it. Anyway, I'll say a little bit more about that most likely just before the end of the show. But on this show, through analyzing your dreams, I reveal your potential and the obstacles you need to overcome. I'm very specific. I tell you the magic power you have, what makes you magnificent, and the bumps in life that are holding you back. These bumps are not in the way, they are the way. And I say that absolutely every week because it is so true. We all have amazing abilities, and many of us, most of us in fact, are not doing anything with them. And now more than ever is the time when you need to do something with those abilities and rise yourself up to the best of what you can be. To get your dream analyzed on my show, go to dream-analysis.com, fill in the form and submit your dream, and I take it from there. You just listen to the show from that point forward until your dream is done. I'm going to repeat. So last week I interviewed Ann, and the interview went on a little bit longer than the show. And if you listen to the archive or recording of last week, you will have heard more, about 10 minutes more of the show. And I'm going to repeat here some of the stuff that I said in that. I got a message from Lisa thanking me for doing her dream. Wishing me well, and it was great to get Lisa's dream a few weeks ago because Lisa's been one of the very first people who listened to the show 5 years ago, and she was also, when we took a sabbatical a while ago, Lisa was one of the last callers, if not in fact the last caller that was on the show. So it's good to see that connection still there. But thank you for writing your well wishes, Lisa, and I return them to you. Same thing to you. My wife has been at me, Sandy's been at me for quite a while to talk about a New York Times article that was about dreams and nightmares. Now I've talked about, COVID-19 and the changes it has made to some people's dreams, a lot of people's, almost everybody's dreams. But there are many, many reasons for that. First of all, at the start of COVID-19, people were panicking and that panic kind of showed up in dreams. But here's the thing about dreams. It's not always what's on the very surface that is significant in the dream. So if you're panicking about something, if you're afraid a particular thing is going to happen, then you're going to dream about that. So if you're afraid of COVID-19, you're going to dream about fighting aliens or bugs or Germans or whatever it is, whatever would symbolize an invasion in your body or a potential threat to your body. So it's not going to tell you you're going to get it or anything because it's something you are afraid of. So this is one of the reasons dreams come in symbolic form, because you don't consciously know what the dream is telling you. In the dream you do, but consciously we don't, and our logical mind isn't involved. So we can see from looking at the things that are different in the dream what is coming in our future. And we've certainly had a lot more of those type of dreams on the show because I've highlighted them. I get them all the time, but just I've highlighted them more recently. But in the New York Times article, it was really interesting. The author talked about dream incubation. And that's something where you can Decide you're going to have a dream that gives you the answer to a particular question, or just a dream, say, I'm going to fly in my dreams, or I'm going to be on a beautiful, warm Caribbean island in my dreams. You can actually make that happen, all right. It can take a few days. It doesn't always happen on demand because in general, our dreams cover the weakest aspect of our functioning at any moment in time. And so it takes a while to override that and force you to have that dream, but you can definitely do it. But what was interesting in the article is she talked about about 200 dreams that were collected in a World War II prisoner of war camp. And most people's dreams were extremely bland. And you're like, why would I have bland dreams? And it's very simple. When life is already a roller coaster, there's no point having roller coaster dreams because there's nothing you can do about it. So the best is to have really nice dreams that are kind of saying, look, everything's cool. There's nothing really exciting going to happen. There's nothing really bad going to happen. It's all good. It's just going to continue on nice and calm like this. Of course, then you wake up and it's not really nice and calm. But could you imagine if you had a dream where you were rescued and then you wake up every morning to find out you're not rescued and then you have that dream again? So bland dreams are what's called for in times of crisis. And that is absolutely the way it normally happens. When you're undergoing a trauma, you're not going to have dreams that tell you how to escape the trauma. They will only come when you actually can escape, when there's something that you can do. So really, your dreams are trying to help you keep the balance. Crazy during the day because life is crazy, then it's not going to be crazy in your dreams. So it's kind of interesting that in this group of dreams, many dreamers, not many, a percentage of dreamers had dreams of escaping or failed escape attempts. And again, that's because escaping is on their mind. That's what triggers that. A lot of people would have the idea of, okay, I'm just going to stay here till the war's over or rescued. Now remember, people wouldn't have known at the time how long World War II was going to last. But anyway, what's interesting here is two people had dreams of successful escapes. And the log of their dreams stopped when those two people did actually successfully escape. And so it's not that the dreams predicted they were going to escape successfully. It was that they were, unbeknownst to everybody else, they were actually planning their escape. And so their escape showed up in their dreams. And their dreams gave them the encouragement and the belief that this is going to succeed because it fit in with their plan of this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do. And they were successful. But that's true for everything you're ever going to do in your life. If you plan it and plan it and plan it, your dreams are going to start endorsing it if it's something that's in alignment with your life purpose and help you get to the point where you really believe it's going to happen. And it's that belief system is what helps create a reality. So it's really good that's the way dreams work. They help us overcome our limiting beliefs. And so you can see the limiting beliefs in all the people who had the failed attempts and the limiting beliefs overcome in the people who had the successful attempts. And they're the ones that escaped. But anyway, the rest of the article didn't really tell anybody's dreams other than those old ones. But you can be rest assured, people have crazy dreams during crazy times. The other thing is we're going to have better dream recall simply because we're trapped in our houses. There's nothing we can do. We're probably getting a lot more sleep than we ever did. We're at home during the day. We can take a nap. We couldn't do that if we're at work. We're not having to commute to and from work. So we have extra hours in the day to burn. And so you're going to have more time to remember your dreams, to be relaxed and remember your dreams. And that's just simply how it is. So don't be surprised that your dream recall is stronger when you have more time being constrained, because you're not going out and going to nightclubs and doing things that you would possibly normally do. And therefore your sleep is a lot better. So anyway, what fits in with this, and the reason I said there might be a repeat from what was in the archive, is I got this very short dream. The dreamer says there was definitely a war or even just this pandemic going on in my dream. And the sky became filled with UFOs, evenly spaced, covering the whole sky. I kept telling whoever that I could communicate telepathically with them. They weren't there to harm us, but basically to intervene. Then they disappeared and a mothership appeared. Okay, so it fits in with the pandemic, of course, because it's like, here's an alien invasion. And so is this about the pandemic coming? And of course, it's not. I channeled on it, it's not. But it could be for another dreamer. That this threat, this alien threat, or alien to me, let's say, and a virus is an alien invader getting into your body. So it kind of fits that it could be that, but in this case, it's not. It's about the dreamer being able to communicate with guides. Guides are beings from the heavens, and she's telling somebody else in the dream, which is basically telling herself, that she has the ability to communicate with them, and she does it telepathically. That works through thoughts being impressed on your mind. So you talk to your guides and then you get thoughts, their thoughts come to you. Usually they're very uplifting. So you can differentiate your thinking from their thinking. Usually there's another tell that comes with it. On my classes, I teach people how to tell when it's their guides giving them the information versus what have I just dreamed this up myself, or what have I just thought about this because it's a possible solution and it could logically work. Well, there are easy ways to tell, easy ways to check that. Even after the fact, where you get the information, you can check after the fact, did this come from my guides? Do I need to listen to it? Anyway, interesting. Then the part that she says is, then they disappeared and a mothership appeared. So what she's doing in the dream is interesting. She's telling other people or whoever else is with her, that it's okay. They're not here to harm us. They're here, but they're here to intervene. So she's keeping people calm. That's a symbol of spiritual leadership. So the dreamer's a spiritual leader, as well as being able to channel. Not a surprise, I suppose, that you'd have both of those. And then she says, then they all disappeared and the mothership appeared. So, that kind of implies big issues with mom. Not necessarily present, but certainly in the past. But the other thing about the mothership, because it's also a very positive, because it's something that's high up in the sky, in general, dreams will show anything that's above eye level is positive, anything below eye level is something you need to get rid of or eliminate. So the mothership arriving in the sky is a positive thing. So we look at the positive aspects of, let's say, motherhood and what a mother can do. And so mothering is about nurturing others, nurturing a child. Like a mother nurses a child until they're able to sustain themselves, until they can survive without their milk, etc. So it's a very positive symbol, says that she has the ability to nurture other people, and it fits in with her spiritual leadership ability. So she's very compassionate, very caring, all female energy traits. And she has that in spades, because obviously the mothership is the big ship out of all of these things, but also says that she has to overcome any issues in the past with her mom, because that would block this ability for her, because she would have a subconscious association that people who nurture are not necessarily the people who should be nurturing. And so since she is meant to be, then we don't want any connection there, subconscious or otherwise, that says, that dampens that ability. But anyway, nice dream, fits in with the theme of what's going on. So there you go, Sandy. I talked about the New York Times article. You have to let me off the hook. So then we got another dream from Melissa. And she says, this one is obviously about channeling. And I think, Melissa, you've sent a dream before about that. You said it's obviously about channeling. Anyway, you're asking what's going on. Here's the dream. I was in an office building. We had to go to the other side. By other side, I mean the other building. It was two buildings that were attached, and take the elevator up. Okay, so 2 is a symbol for channeling, because channeling is about dialogue and communication. And it takes 2 to have that dialogue. While in the elevator, I asked what floor we were going to, because it seemed like we had been in the elevator for 20 minutes already. And here we have the 10 again, or the 2 again, apologies. And it's 20 minutes, so it's saying, okay, 0 is about goals and ideals. So it's pursuing your channeling is a goal that you are definitely meant to follow. And I know you can already channel, so this is going to be about improving it. And the fact that in the dream it feels like this is taking too long is interesting. So that's your perception in reality, that, I'm not there yet. I want to be the world's best channel. I'm exaggerating, of course. And I don't feel I'm there yet. So you need to be patient about this. You're going there. You're going to get there. So don't worry about it. So that's number one, what you need to do. Don't be impatient. And it's kind of funny. There's certain things you can say to people that they don't like. And to say to an impatient person, don't be impatient, it's like a red flag to a bull. So if you have that reaction from hearing it, just relax, calm down, have a nice cup of tea, and then look for, where does the impatience come from? And quite often you can, and you've done a lot of work on yourself, so quite often you can just realize, oh, it's this event or this one trait that mom had. And okay, when I realize that, I can go, okay, I know that's not me. That was the impact of that relationship. So I'm just going to put that to the side and I'm just going to take my time. And that's the way I suspect it would go for you. In fact, it will go for you. You say the building was a very tall skyscraper. So that tells us, yeah, definitely it's about your spiritual side, reaching into the heavens, of course. I worried about how high up we would go. So, okay, you need to let go of worry. So you did mention in your comments, I didn't read them, about fears. And so this is one of the fears that you need to overcome. Not about going too high, but just that there are fears that hold you back a little bit. And that's true for everybody. Almost, I can't say that I know anybody who was never afraid to channel. Maybe people who've done it from a very young age, like my daughter Heidi, who never didn't channel. Maybe people like that and never had a fear because they never let it go. But most of us, we've let it go, and then we have to bring it back into our lives. And we have the fear of reconnecting until we make that connection, and then it's like you're connected to your best friend. And that's true for everybody. People who work in this field, they end up getting to the point where they trust their guides more than they trust the person in front of them, because the guides don't ever steer them in the wrong direction. So anyway, it's just funny. We have the fears. Fears also come from, past life stuff. But anyway, let's skip that for the moment. I thought about how, if there was a fire, we would have to take the stairs down. And I wondered if all the stairwells would be open. So you're talking about things being open, which is about the heart. And you're talking about a fire, which is also about the heart. And so the fears are about getting into your heart and about being open. And again, that's okay. That connects back to mom, because when you were open at the very start of life and didn't get the unconditional love that you needed, that was a painful experience. And so that's the reason to hold back, as far as your logical or subconscious mind, who would be against this, would say, remember, being open is a horrible experience. Not true when you're an adult. It's very different when you're an adult and you get to choose who you converse with. As a child, you've no choice. Your world is your parents. And if they don't give you what you need, then you've got to suffer in that world for years until you get to the point where you can leave and create your own world. But that's where you are now. And so being open is the thing that's being called for, despite your fear of, like you can easily see, if the building catches fire, it's like, that's a trauma. The idea of opening my heart is a trauma to me. So anyway, something else you need to work with. Once we were off the elevator, we were overlooking a large table half filled with women. So channeling requires both male and female energies working in harmony. It works through the heart, no matter what mechanism you use. It works through the heart. Our female energy is connected to the divine, and our male energy is not. So if you want to make that connection and get it stronger, then it requires both energies. It requires the male side to be in balance with the female side, but the female side is what makes the connection. Now, here you say it's half filled with women, so you have a bit of a way to go, but you don't need to fill it with women. You want male energy working with this. So here's another thing to look at, because there's no men mentioned in this, and there usually is in dreams about channeling. You will have marriages and things like that, and it's always balanced. So what is your view of men? Why do you have that view of men? And then disassociate that view of men, because obviously your view is based on experience. Disassociate that view from male energy itself. Yes, men do display a lot more male energy than women, but generally, if you have a negative view, it's because men have displayed an unbalanced male energy. Balanced male energy is all about support. It would be like where your dad says to you, you can be anything you want to be, and I'm going to be there for you. And it doesn't matter what it is. And anything happen to you in your life, your dad's going to be there, beating up the bully, risking going to jail, whatever it is. Your dad he's going to be the massive male influence of support in your life that you always know you can rely on. Even if you're the one who messes up, dad's going to be there. Dad's going to be behind me because I'm his daughter. That's the way male energy is meant to be, but very few of us get it. Men or women, very few of us get it that way. But that's what you need to be looking at your male energy in that way now. And it's interesting. I see this in more and more dreams from people who already work in the spiritual field. They're being told to improve their view of male energy, which is interesting because obviously we're in a female energy age now. Started in January and it's really kicking in. So why would the balanced male energy be required? Well, this time round, as the female energy comes up, it's going to be in balance with male energy. And so the male structures that we have in place now are going to go because they're not balanced. They're all about control and various other things and fears and having to be safe and so on. Whereas balanced male energy is about, it's not about like, don't be stupid, don't do crazy things, but it's like wherever you are, you're going to be supported. Wherever you find yourself, you're going to be able to do the very things that you need to do in your life. So with that male energy. So you can take risks and so on. Anyway, half filled. 2 were members indicated by a red and white wristband and belonged. So this is the thing. Do you feel that you belong in the club of channels? And the red and white is about having joy and hope for the future. So this is a really good symbol. And it's telling you that's what you need to do. Feel like you belong, because obviously in this, because of this dream, we can tell that you don't feel like you belong. And they're wristbands, so as well, it's about taking risks. Don't hold back when you get the information you get, or whatever it is, or whatever you need to do to get to the point where you're the world's best channel. Take that risk, do that thing, because it's going to work, and have joy and hope and expectation that this is going to work perfectly. And that's what red and white is about. And usually when you dream of red and white, you do have that feeling when you wake up that it's like, this is it. I can just do this. I can take this leap of faith, jump off this cliff, and I'm going to land safely, and it's going to be perfect. And that's what the dream is promising with those colors, which is fantastic. You continue on. The others were there as guests of the members, indicated by beige and white wristbands. So still not bad colors, but the beige is about tolerance, acceptance of things as they are. So like just to be accepting, especially around mom, because of the color. There was a question of how many should be allowed. It's not just the color, it's also the fact that there's all these women in the dream. There was a question of how many should be allowed that weren't members. We were instructed that once we got off the elevator, we were to take the platform or walkway on the 7th floor that connected the 2 buildings and go back to the room we had been in. Okay. So again, that last part was all about you belonging and feeling like you have this gift. That's what you need to do. This part is about using your crown chakra. So if you're able to communicate with your guides through different chakras, go for the 7th, go for the crown chakra, because that's what you're told in the dream connects the 2 buildings, connects the 2 worlds, let's say. And you're told to go back to the room you had been in. The room was like an atrium, all glass, and it jutted out from the rest of the building. So that's like symbolic of the womb, this little room that juts out from the building, if the building is the body. And so it says, because it's all glass, that you have a strong psychic ability, a strong intuition, a connection to your soul. And that's really good. So this comes as a knowing. You know what to do, and you've had that, you brought that gift with you. That's why we see the womb there. But it's also a symbol of being pregnant too, not physically because of where it is and the fact that it's on this skyscraper. So we know it's about spiritual gifts. And so it's like you're pregnant with this spiritual gift, and you're going to be gifted with this knowing, this ability to just know things and see things, because you're up high and the room is completely made of glass and it juts out. So your view is going to be quite spectacular. Not just like a regular window, not just that limited narrow viewpoint. You can see a lot more of the horizon and so on. So that's your dream. I hope that explains and answers your questions, and thanks for sending it into the show. I wanted to come back to Anne's 4-day challenge. Remember, this is a focus on the exciting possibilities of the future, and it's all come about based on an angel she's recently been introduced to that she's channeling, that is telling her things about the future, what's coming. It's included some warnings about what's coming in the near future and some absolutely fantastic, heartwarming things about how the future is going to change. And this whole group is set up for the positive aspect of that. And it's really interesting. She split us into different groups that matched what she calls our soul type. So you end up with a group of people who have the same way of looking at the world as you. They don't have the same experiences, so everybody's very different. Each group was asked a question to come back with an answer to. And it was interesting how all of us in the group I was in had very similar awakening experiences or reactions to our awakening experiences, like a much more open heart, an open mind, leaving, in some cases, religion behind, and changing what you're doing and how you view the world. One person said, I view everybody as a soul rather than as a person, and I know everybody's different. So very, very interesting. But she did also talk about, she gave a message from the angels. So I guess she's going to get one of those for each day of the challenge, which is great. So I look forward to tomorrow. But today she said that the angels, the way they put it was that they're going to be kneeling beside us to help us, which is an interesting way for them to put it. So if they have all this power, all this ability to use the word saying we're going to be kneeling beside you, I really like that. They also, their message was, don't let polarization hold you back, that this world needs contrast. It's still needed. And, you know, one side, in one lifetime, you're going to be on one side, another lifetime, you're going to be on another. So it's all about not judging people who are different from you, which is always nice. But coming in the future is less strife, more love, and an easier passage through life. But yet you will still be enthralled by the context of your life. A lot more than that. I would encourage you to get into her group. There is a link to that group under the archive for last week's show on YouTube. You can get there from my website, dream-analysis.com. Click on videos. Until next week, I'm Michael Sheridan. Thanks for listening.